Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Fletcher. I'm the CEO from Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area, and want to thank you all for being here today. We're here today to kick off and roll out the strategic workforce plan that we developed for Fayette County. We took on a strategic planning mission about 18 months ago. We started off looking at the entire 9-county area and talking about what we wanted to do, and really determined what we needed to do is build a big regional plan for the entire area, as well as an individual county specific plan. So today we're here to roll out the Fayette County specific strategic plan. We had the opportunity back on March 31st to roll out our regional plan, but today is all about Fayette County and what we want to try to accomplish here to try to meet the talent supply needs of our employers and make sure everybody that wants one and can get one has a career opportunity that meets their needs. So that's really why we're here this morning. I want to acknowledge Judge Joe Weber has joined us today on our call. So Judge, thank you for being here. And then I would like to introduce our Workforce Board Chair, Frank Leonardis, and see if you'd like to say a few words.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. On behalf of the board, we certainly appreciate your participation and input as this strategic plan was being developed. Our board staff wouldn't have been able to do this without your input and your help. So thank you for your participation, and look forward to continuing to work with you as we roll these plans out. So thank you.
Thanks, Frank. So as we talked a little bit about the workforce plan that we put together for Fayette County. What we want to do today is we're going to go through the goals in the plan, kind of oversee some of the background. As we get into this, I'll introduce some of our other staff. We'll talk about some key findings that we discovered along the way. We'll look at what our priorities are going to be. Look at the SWOT analysis that we did to really help us understand the resources and maybe the resource gaps that we might have. Go over the overall strategic plan. We're going to take a look at labor market information, and then we'll talk about the Workforce Matters Coalition that we want to form here in Fayette County. And then we'll do some Q&A and wrap up at the end. So the big goals for our workforce plan that we set out for Fayette County. We talked about addressing some big structural barriers, and we want to be clear what we're talking about when we talk about big things like housing and childcare and transportation and broadband. Is we're not going to pretend like we can come in here and fix all of those problems, but we want to make sure we're looking at those from a workforce perspective, and that we're connecting with groups that are already in place in Fayette County that may be addressing some of those type issues. So we want to get the workforce side connected to that and make sure our issues are well understood by groups that are working on those things. We want to enhance the employer-led workforce system, make sure that our employers are able to find the people they need to run their businesses. And then finally, we want to create stronger pathways to self-sufficient employment and career advancement. So where those opportunities are there for people to go to work, we want to make sure they have the skills and they understand what their opportunities are and where they can go to take advantage of those opportunities. So excuse me, just a little bit of background on the plan. So we conducted workshops and surveys back in summer of 2020. We had a very specific regional focus to look at what are the workforce issues, what do employers need, what are job seekers looking for, what are the educational opportunities in the area, and how can we bring all those pieces together to make it all fit. So before we get to the key findings, I'd like to introduce our Chief Operations Officer, Diane Tackett, and let her talk a little bit about those.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Diane Tackett. I am the Chief Operations Officer here at Workforce Solutions. I'm actually working off of 2 screens, so you might see me move my attention over to the other screen as we go through the key findings. But based on the work that we did with the focus groups and really getting a better understanding of the needs of the community, we identified several key findings in Fayette County that we wanted to focus in on a little bit more. So broadband access, low labor force participation, a high percentage of adult population without a high school diploma, and a high retirement exposure were highlighted as significant issues that affect the workforce in the county. And then initiatives such as Refurb the Berg and the LaGrange EDC's dual credit scholarship program also were kind of positive highlights that we saw that showed models of residents coming together to address some of the community needs. Another finding was that better access to and awareness of career training opportunities for both adults and youth are things that we can do to further strengthen the talent pipeline for Fayette County. Once we identified those, we worked to develop a set of priorities that help to inform the strategic plan for Fayette County. So the first priority is to support the launch of the Workforce Matters Coalition. And in doing so, we want to help address the structural barriers that we identified previously, including housing, transportation, childcare, and broadband access. We'd like to strengthen and align the partnerships with our chambers of commerce and other economic development organizations so that we can engage Fayette County employers more meaningfully in the workforce system, improve their understanding of the local labor market, and then improve our understanding of what we can do to support the talent supply chain. Another priority is to increase the awareness of high demand careers and the opportunities to connect Fayette County employers with those individuals so that we can ensure that we've got the right educational programs in the area that are training for the right skills. As we were going through this, part of the way that we were able to identify those key findings and priorities was to conduct a SWOT analysis. And so in Fayette County, one of the things we noticed is that there was a swift recovery of the unemployment rate during the COVID-19 pandemic. So although there was kind of a spike in unemployment insurance claims, the recovery happened very quickly as well. Fayette County also has a strength of having a low poverty rate, which means that the residents of the county are able to find a level of supporting employment. Other strengths have to do with the community-wide initiatives like Refurb the Berg and other things to promote the community improvement in Schulenburg and some of the surrounding areas. We know that Blaine College has a higher education presence in Schulenburg, and that's also listed as a strength because that's going to help build that talent pipeline. And then LaGrange has a dual credit scholarship program that is available for residents, and so that's helpful as well. Other things that we noticed that we would like to begin to address are the significant and persistent contraction of the labor force during the COVID-19 shutdown. So, we saw that the labor force kind of reduced, and we need to work to address that so that does not affect the employers in the area. Prior to COVID, the labor force participation rate was 55.6%, which is a little bit lower than what we've seen in some of our other counties, and we'll look at that in a few minutes, a little bit more in depth. The median hourly wage is lower than what we saw around the Austin metro area and around the state of Texas. And that can be an indicator of individuals leaving the community and having to commute for work. And so that's something that we would like to dig a little bit deeper into and identify some of the root causes of that. There's also a relatively high percentage of the adult population that does not have a high school diploma. So again, in building that talent supply chain and ensuring that we've got the right training that's going to connect with industry, we want to dive into what's causing that and what we can do to help alleviate that. The high retirement exposure, almost half of the adult population in Fayette County is over the age of 55, which, full disclosure, I'm not too far away from, so this kind of hits close to my heart. And then the lack of broadband access is also a weakness. In terms of opportunities, we see that there's post-secondary training available in Fayette County, and we'd like to continue to increase the opportunities for that post-secondary training in some of the surrounding areas. We want to increase the training programs that are aimed at adult learners specifically. We'd like to have better career awareness to help students in high school choose appropriate CTE programs or other relevant training programs that they can initiate either while they're still in school or very quickly transition into that post-completion. Another opportunity is to kind of dive into the additional housing needs, such as some of the work that is happening with the second floor development grant. And then we want to continue to support and strengthen small business. In Fayette County, we think that's one of the backbones of the community, and we want to ensure that small business has the supports that they need to stay open and to be able to succeed. And kind of what we talked about earlier in terms of threats, we identified that many workers commute to other counties for work. We want to try to reconcile that so that we've got more workers staying in the county that they live in, and they're able to work in the county that they reside in. And then there's also older small business owners that are kind of coming to the end of their career without having successors to take on that small business. And so there's the potential that there's going to be some business closures or some changes or transitions there. And again, trying to work to support small businesses, we would like to take that into consideration. And so based on that analysis, we were able to create a strategic plan for Fayette County. And I'm going to pass this off to Dr. Kara DiMattina Ryan, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the county specific plan. And Kara, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So sure. So Paul already went through these 3 points, so I won't spend too much time on them. I'll talk about them more in the context of the county. And so for goal 1, it's collaborate on solutions for structural barriers. And what we're looking to do is coordinate a Workforce Matters coalition to start talking about and aligning our efforts with what's going on in the county to address these issues. And we want to make sure that we're engaging employers and inserting some employer feedback into this so that we're understanding how we're impacting the workforce as we grow. As we enhance the region's employer-led and demand-driven workforce system, we do want to keep working with all of our stakeholders and ensuring that we're growing those partnerships and advocating along with them for workforce issues. Encourage these partners to launch the Workforce Matters Coalition. And of course, we want to continue to work with all of you to make sure that we're as representative of the community as possible. We want to raise awareness of opportunities for Fayette County employers to participate in this coalition. And again, that's because we really want to enhance and unite some employer voices and make sure we're recognizing our employer and workforce needs. As part of this, we want to make sure data is available to our employers, our stakeholders, and everyone else who might need it in how we approach this, because we do want to make sure that as we're considering how to grow as a community, that workforce data is a part of those decision-making, part of decision-making in general. And as part of that, we'll also want to customize a list of career lattice systems that apply to that county. And what that means is that we want to work with the employers to really articulate and figure out how to utilize the career lattice system in a way that both benefits the employer and the job seeker, and make sure that we're communicating how we can create career trajectories for the student, for all of the student population and the job seekers in the community. And then as we move into goal 3, it's creating pathways to self-sufficient employment and career advancement. And this area is really about, because if you think about it, the 3 of our goals are, the first is how we are all going to work together. The second is geared at employers. And then this third one is really geared at the job seekers. And of course, they're all intertwined. We don't pretend that they're not. But for this aspect, we want to start with our school districts, of course, because this is where we're first going to be seeing our student population start gaining their knowledge about how they're going to grow into their work opportunities. So we want to make sure that we're engaging our school districts and working with them more closely and figuring out how we can partner on career awareness activities and just working with them in general to see how we can enhance our career efforts. We want to assist the Workforce Matters Coalition in organizing youth career and hiring events, and continue to work with Bling College and Schulenburg to ensure that course offerings align with training needs of area employers, And essentially, we're looking forward to continuing to work on how we can enhance career training opportunities within the county and make sure they're more accessible to our job seekers who are local, and creating those lattice systems locally. Expand opportunities for adult basic education and job training through partnerships. And what that means is for that small percentage in Blinn County end of the day. And for the small percentage within the county who does fall in that poverty rate, we want to make sure that there is remedial opportunities available for them, so that then we can move them into those career opportunities and they can be successful. And then strengthen and support the network of resources to support small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we know that part of the discussions that we've had, and we've heard Diane mention them, and in the SWOT analysis, is that we want to enhance resources for small business because it is such a backbone of the community and part of that cultural development. So how can we create an ecosystem for those entrepreneurs that can enhance and help them grow, while also supporting without creating a brain drain too? We want to make sure that our students feel, our youth feels interested and sees opportunity in growing out their own small businesses. So we're really looking forward to creating a lot of that ecosystem. And we did base this on data, and I'm going to let Eugene Ratliff, our data guru, start talking more about a lot of that information that helped us come to these conclusions.
Thanks, Chair. As Diane stated in the beginning, we had the SWOT, and so I'm going to go over some of the data, SWOT analysis, some of the data that was behind it. Some of it most of it is quite fluid, so it changes rapidly. Some of it is not so much, and so we can go ahead and look at some of the data that we did use. The stuff you're going to see is as of August 2020, which is when all of this was written. Most of it was written. I'll give you some updated numbers if possible. The labor force back in August 2020 was around 12,000 people. It actually was a drop from the next slide should show you, I believe. The change in labor force. Fayette County did have a drop. As of today, it's even a little bit less. It's no longer at 12,000. It's about 11,800. So the labor force has continued to drop for some reason in that area. Okay. The unemployment rate in August, there was 509 people unemployed. Currently there's about 646. So the unemployment rate, but we have seen that in other areas as well, not just Fayette, for the last couple of months. Thinking that has to do with seasonality, retail, stuff like that changing, and temporary workers. So the unemployment rate, with that said, back in August of 2020 was 4.2%. As Diane stated, Fayette County had a very quick recovery from when COVID first hit. I mean, it took some people quite a while, but since that time, it's slid back up slightly. We're looking at about 5.4% right now. If the numbers I'm looking at are correct. And one reason that percentage goes up is because your labor force went down. When the labor force goes down and the number of people unemployed slightly goes up a little bit, it's going to make your percentage change drastically as well. Okay. Labor force participation rate. So you've got about 55% of the population in Fayette County over the age of 16 is currently in the labor force compared to the population. Median hourly wages, as Diane stated, it's on the low end, but if we look sort of on the southeast side, those three counties are just within a few pennies from each other. The poverty rate is 10%, pretty close to Bastrop. Lee and Caldwell, for some reason, are a little bit, well, not for some reason, but a little bit higher. There is a reason behind it, but pretty much so in line with Bastrop. Educational attainment, this is what we're looking at here is the percentage of population between the age of 25 and 64 that do not even have a high school diploma. We're 15%, which a little bit on the, we'll probably just go with the median number, but tending towards the high rate. Retirement exposure, as Diane mentioned, that's looking at the population over the age of 55. You're at 49%, which is right at half the mark. And what you'll notice is that when you get into Bastrop, Hayes, Williamson County, the closer you get to the metro area, that retirement exposure drops, which means that the young people are leaving. They're not staying. So what is it that we can do to grow our own, as Kara said? And entrepreneurial could be one of those things to make people stay home, or not stay home, but what I consider home. Remote workers is the working outside of a conventional office. For those of us that work and commute every day to an office, the higher the percentage, there's more people that don't have that. So yeah, there's not a lot of remote possibilities in Fayette County at the 3.8% of working from home. It could be infrastructure, it could be all kinds of things. And that's about it with me. So I'm going to shoot it back to Kara.
And so I think what our next steps are going to be, and I'm saying I think, we are building out a Workforce Matters Coalition to start discussing how we can effectively work together and align our efforts with the work that's already going on in the community. And as part of that, we're inviting people to participate and have broader discussions with us about how we can look at some of these broader infrastructure issues while also coordinating efforts to bring increased training and enhance that entrepreneurship effort. And I really want to open up the floor to questions and kind of poke at some of the people that we're working with, like Becky and Kim. If you have any thoughts or on how you see this growing.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my unmute button here. So I thank you for the information today, and I appreciate the strategic plan and the boost that we are getting, the help we're getting to get this off the ground. Definitely there are more things that we can do in Schulenburg to help meet the needs of the workforce here. And one of the things you identified was definitely helping or working with employers to get that wage up, because that is an impediment sometimes for local people, and of course why they are attracted to working out of town. But we are excited about this, and one of the tools that you mentioned that we have used extensively here at Blaine College with advising students and working with our high schools are those career lattices. So those are invaluable tools to help students, especially first generation students, see the progression that they could make to get to those higher paying jobs. So that's one of the tools that I'm especially excited about using and sharing with people in this area. So we thank you for the support, and we look forward to more great things to come.
Thank you, Becky. Kim, I don't know if you're there to add any insights.
I'm here. I just want to say thank you also for all of the work that y'all put into this plan, and just really identifying the areas that we can improve upon. And I look forward to working together with you guys and other partners in the county to improve those areas. I know that it is difficult for our employers here to find the right people many times, and all those obstacles that y'all identified are right on. Housing is an issue, childcare is an issue. As Becky said, the wage level can be an issue as well, and then just having them have the skills that they need to do the job, that can be an issue as well. So I look forward to being part of some training solutions, hopefully offering some things that the employers can use and can hire people right here in Fayette County after they've gotten some training, hopefully working with Glenn to maybe provide some more opportunities there. We want to support those small businesses, and as was very evident with all the data, we want our young people to want to stay here. And it's just kind of a cycle that sometimes you're not sure which can come first, to make that happen. But I definitely know that the EDC is committed to, supporting our small businesses and also helping our workforce to be trained and our employers to be able to find qualified people. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. We really enjoying having great partners like you in the community. Anyone else? Questions, thoughts? Yes, Judge.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a few comments. I want to thank y'all for doing this. It was enlightening to me. Enlightening as a county judge who's concerned about, the economy and the future of the county and where we're going and how we get there and the changes that are coming and how to deal with them. But also as an employer of a major, we got a good significant number of people who work for the county government here. And so I think this was good, and I appreciate it and being part of it. I guess the question I would have in the county, and I know a lot of those statistics were given, but in your opinion, do we have a shortage right now of employees in Fayette County? Do you think there's, because I know I see every day where there's a problem. There's not enough truck drivers. There's not enough this. And I've talked to electricians and plumbers and others, and it seems like there is and I don't know if one of the statistics you gave us indicated that, but it seems like there is a shortage of employees. Is that safe to say, or where we could draw from?
Judge, I think it's fairly safe to say that we currently have jobs for which people are not applying, whether they don't have exactly the right skills or they're not aware of those opportunities. And I think part of what we want to do, with this coalition is to make sure that all of those job opportunities are being communicated to in all possible ways. And where we have gaps where people don't have the right skills for the employment opportunities that are there in the county, that we work to bring those that kind of reskilling or upskilling to those folks, so they have an opportunity to fill those jobs, and employers can then hire local, and it makes some better hiring choices and really benefit the whole community. Yeah,
COVID really didn't hit us as hard, I think, job-wise here. When this thing started, identify your essential workers. Well, a lot of what we do here in the county, we're electricians, plumbers, farm and ranch stores, livestock have to be fed, air conditioning, HVAC, heating repair. A lot of those were deemed essential workers. And I tell the county employees all the time is, things are really tough, but there wasn't one county employee that missed a paycheck, And so I think we were very fortunate job-wise in that, because I know some others were hurt a lot more than we were. The wages thing, I think, is interesting, and it's something that we in the county are looking at right now. Our county auditor is looking at 4 or 5 of our surrounding counties, and I sense that our county employees are not there. Some of them are, but some of them, particularly our EMS and some of our law enforcement and jailers and dispatchers and others, compared to surrounding counties, we probably need to do some work there. But then I go back and look at our tax rate here in the county, and it's fairly lower than all our, surrounding counties. So as the budgeting cycle comes this year, we need to look at that and see if we can do a little better. The 55 and overs were interesting without a high school diploma. I think that we need to look at that closely, but focus a lot more on the younger ones. I mean, I'm old and I like the attention and people focusing on me, but I'm more concerned about that younger element that might not have that high school degree, and I just really think that what we do in your plan addresses that is we got to focus on the youth. And we got to start in high school, and we got to start working with our schools and getting these kids interested in skills. And they're not all college material, and that's fine. But there's great jobs in this county and great skills and great things to do if we can get them interested early and through scholarships, through grants, through whatever we can, get them focused on things like electricians, plumbing, welders, construction, building, air conditioning, heating, installation, repair, all those type of things. And then you'll have many that'll, in addition, do the livestock and the agriculture. And that's still the economic driver in the county right now, but that's going to change. So I applaud the looking at the youth and working with them. And I really want to do that. Your structural barriers are spot on. I mean, those 4 that you ID are ones I think about every night before I go to bed sometimes. And to help us with that and to do the things we need to do requires dollars. And the county has recently hired a grant writer to come and look at all sorts of things that might be available for us to help the county, our employees, as well as the community with respect to grants. And I've told her, if you're not working on a current grant, I want you to be researching to find out where there is other things, because my sense is there's money out there and available to us that we're not asking for. And if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. And there are things that we need to, with respect to childcare and some of those other things, if we can find some of those things, that'll help us and generate employment too. I guess, that's really about. One other question I had. We talked about the unemployment and going up and down and stuff. We didn't answer the question. I'm going to ask it. Maybe somebody didn't want to ask it. But is the generosity of our federal government right now having an effect on our workforce?
But that's a difficult question, and it's got a lot of there's a lot loaded in that question. I'm sure.
I know.
But I had this discussion with the chair of TWC earlier this week. And we both kind of said, well, if you look at the math, the answer is fairly obvious. But I think we've also got a lot of good stories to tell about people that have used these opportunities to take advantage of some resources that have been made available, and they've come out of this with a much better job than they had before. And I think the more we tell those stories, and the more we show people the realities of where the world is headed, and it may be more financially beneficial right now to stay on unemployment, but that's not going to last forever. And these resources that are out there right now to help people upskill and reskill are not going to last forever either. And you don't want to be that last person looking for a chair when the music stops. So we want to get the early bird gets the worm, and we do a lot of talking with folks every day about why it's important to not wait. And as soon as it's possible for you, let's get back out there.
Right. I agree. And again, thank y'all for including me and let me share my comments. It's very good.
Thank you, Judge. Anytime.
Can I just add one more thing before we move on here? Judge was asking about different businesses who are having trouble finding someone. We actually just met with a business this morning, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. And we're really excited that they are wanting to pursue apprenticeships. So we think that that could be a wonderful opportunity, not only for them, but also for our young people coming out of high school and others in the community who may want to pursue that line of work. So we're very excited about that. And as we progress forward, you'll start hearing more and more about that. So there are several of them that are going to be working together to try to put together an apprenticeship program that they'll be doing here on the Schulenburg campus. So that's exciting news.
That's targeting, what they can do here. And I mean, there's some great paying jobs there. And I'm on the department heads here in the county to, let's start thinking about some kind of an summer internship program here for the younger kids. I mean, I think there's the opportunity to bring them into county and expose them to things from judicial to legal to, road and bridge and maintenance and those other kind of things. And we don't have a good internship program. But again, I think that's working with the youth and working with the schools. And if we can start there, get their interest and get their attention, I think it's going to be great. And you're already doing that out at Blinn, I know, in Schulenburg. So appreciate it.
Guys, are we seeing any other questions out there?
There's not any questions that have come through the Q&A yet.
Okay. So we have just a few minutes here. I'd like to thank a few people today. Number one, Judge Weber, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time looking at these things. I know county judges are very busy individuals. I appreciate your attention to this. We have some of our workforce board members that are volunteer board members that guide and direct our workforce board. So on the call with us today, we have Margaret Lindsay, frankly, an artist who is our current board chair. Margaret is our past board chair. Becky Garlick, they're from Schulenburg with Blinn, is with us today. And Dr. Hector Aguilar is with us as well. So thank you guys for taking your time to join us on this today. I appreciate y'all being here. We heard from Kim Newton at EDC. Thanks, Kim, for being here. Saw Carla Flanagan's name here from Blinn. So thank you for being here. And our workforce contractor, Mike Crane from Equus, and then our childcare contractor, Sandy Anderson from Baker Ripley, are here with us as well. So thank you guys for being here, joining us on this today. I think the coalition we're working to build in this plan will be really important on how we move forward for the future. We figure out the future of work and try to bring the right jobs for the right folks together and make those good matches.
Paul,
yes.
There was one question that just came in through the Q&A, and I know that we kind of answered it, but I think it's important, or it'd be a good question to be able to discuss. And it's just, if somebody is wanting to discuss the strategic plan further, the formation of the county coalitions, who should they call, or what are their next steps to get in contact with us?
I think I would ask them to reach out to Kara. We can make sure her information is available there. And we'd love to have those continuing conversations and see who wants to join us on this coalition and how we get that going here in the very near future.
Yeah. And I added my email address to that response. And I know Brian also added a communications email address, and you can use either one of those to get in contact with us.
Okay. Frank, would you like to have any parting comments?
Just again, thank you all for your participation in this plan. We certainly look forward to working with all of you on the Workforce Matters Coalition, and looking forward to the direction this all goes over the next 3 years or so. So thank you all. Certainly appreciate your time. I know everybody is busy, so it's important for the workforce as well as the community there for us all come together and work on this together. So we appreciate your time. Thank you. And you all have a great afternoon.
Thank you all.